Sophia, and today I will be guiding you through my practical assessment for my personal training certificate. On this practice today, I have focused mainly on upper body workout. So I've been doing weight exercise concerning the chest, concerning the biceps and the triceps, and concerning the shoulders. Most of the exercise that I will show are either multi-joint or isolation worked exercise. And I just want to introduce the idea that the client I will be working with is recovering from a slight elbow injury, so as a result some of the exercise will be adapted so that the elbow doesn't take too much strain and we allow for positive elbow and joint adaptability.
Yeah, let's go. I ain't the first with the curse, with the thirst that I wanna be better, not worse, man it hurts. I'm on this earth with my words and I put them all together, insert, cause I wanna have worth. Working hella hard till they put me in the dirt. Gonna go far, man, listen to my words. Gonna be a star, man, life's like a blur. When you're working this hard, yeah, you get...
The following stretch is a PNF chest stretch. PNF stands for proprioceptive neuromuscular facilitation. By introducing this stretch before your workout, you will be able to increase your range of motion while increasing the length of your pectoralis major through a passive release technique in which you will try to close your elbows while someone will hold your elbows back. This exercise should be performed for around 30 seconds and should be repeated 1 to 2 times. The following stretch is a tricep stretch. This stretch will be performed by releasing all the tension from your body and keeping your back straight and your neck and shoulders relaxed. This exercise has many benefits as the tricep stretch improves your flexibility and your range of motion. After an upper body workout routine that includes pushing or pressing movements, it is important to stretch your triceps to prevent soreness or tightening. The following stretch is a chest wall stretch. This exercise will be performed by facing a wall and placing your left palm on the wall. You must slowly rotate your torso to the right until your feet stretch in your chest and in your left shoulder. You must hold this exercise for at least 15 to 30 seconds and you must repeat on both sides. This exercise has many benefits, including opening your chest and loosening up your biceps and the muscles of your shoulders. This stretch also increases your flexibility and helps to improve blood circulation and posture. The first exercise performed is bench press. Bench press is one of the most popular gym exercises and it concerns the shoulder, scapular, and elbow joints. The shoulder joint is worked through the pectoralis major and the anterior deltoid muscles. The scapular joint is worked through the serratus anterior and the elbow joint is worked through the triceps branchi. There are multiple safety tips concerning bench press. One of the first safety tips is to keep your thumb wrapped around the Olympic bar. Another safety tip is to keep your feet flat on the ground and to squeeze your upper back and shoulder blades in order to keep a tight upper back and a big chest. If I were to spot bench press, I would do so behind the bar, as shown in the video. It is important to remind the client to exhale when he exerts a force and inhale when no force is being created and therefore on the downward face of the bench press. The following exercise performed is an incline fly with dumbbell. It's a single joint exercise and therefore the shoulder joint is worked on isolation through the engagement of the pectoralis major, the pectoralis minor, and the anterior deltoid. Some safety tips include lying flat on the bench, putting the feet flat on the ground, and monitor the spine and scapular position as well as shoulder and elbow motion. If I were to spot my client, I would do so under the elbow as shown in the video. The following exercise is a flat dumbbell chest press. It requires more stability in the shoulder girdle than a normal chest press. The major joints activated through this exercise is the shoulder joint, the scapular joint, and the elbow joint. The shoulder joint is worked through the activation of the pectoralis major and the anterior deltoid muscle, while the scapula uses the serratus anterior muscle and the elbow uses the tricep branchi. Some safety tips include monitoring the shoulder and elbow motion, and it is important to spot the client under the elbow or the wrist. The following two exercises are variations of push-ups. Push-ups are really good for stabilization in the upper body as well as working the chest muscles. The main muscles worked here are the pectoralis major and pectoralis minor as well as the tricep branchi through the engagement of the elbow joint. These type of push-ups are very good for functional exercises as well as conditioning. It is important that the client maintains a straight spine and a straight lower back. Lastly, there are many adaptations to push-ups. If your client is unable to perform a push-up, there are many different ways in which you can build the strength of those muscles to achieve a complete push-up. The following exercise is a standing bicep curl that works the elbow joint in isolation. It is important to remember that the knees must stay flexed and the abdominals must be engaged. In the upward phase, the elbow joint is worked through the engagement of the bicep branchialis, the branchialis, and the branchioradialis. As a safety tip, it is important to monitor the pelvic movement and elbow positioning, especially when standing up. The following exercise is called Tricep Kickback and it's performed with a dumbbell. In this exercise, the elbow joint is worked in isolation through the engagement of the tricep branchi. If done standing, it is important that this exercise is done with the knees slightly flexed and the abs completely engaged, while not tilting the lower back. It's also important to monitor the scapula and the elbow positioning and the range of motion. The following exercise is a bicep curl performed with a stand-up cable machine. The elbow joint is activated through the engagement of the bicep branchi, the branchialis, and the branchioradialis. In this exercise, it is important to monitor the spine and the pelvis positioning, as well as the elbow and shoulder, while keeping the same posture and the knees flexed, and ensuring that the movements are slow and controlled rather than jerky. The following exercise is a tricep pushdown. It's important that when performing this exercise, the knees stay slightly flexed, the back stays straight, and the abdominals are always engaged. This exercise works the elbow joint in complete isolation, and the elbow joint is engaged through the tricep branchi. It is important to not allow the elbows to go higher than a 90-degree angle in order to ensure that we get the most tricep activation. The following exercise are lateral raises. Lateral raises work the shoulder in complete isolation through the engagement of the medial deltoid muscles. When assessing this exercise for a client, it is important to monitor the scapula and the elbow movement while ensuring that the client does not lift the arm higher than the shoulder height. It's important to always keep your abdominal muscles engaged while having your knees slightly flexed. The following exercise is a shoulder press. A shoulder press generally requires more stability in the shoulder girdle than a normal press with no dumbbells. This exercise is multi-joint and therefore it works the shoulder, the scapula, and the elbow joints. The shoulder joint is worked through the anterior and medial deltoid muscles. The scapula is worked through the trapezius and the elbow is worked through the tricep branchi. If I were to monitor this exercise, I would do so under the elbows and I would ensure that the client performs this exercise slowly in order to get the maximum engagement. It is also important that the back is completely flush to the bench and that feet are flat on the ground. The following exercise is a military press with a slight shoulder shrug. A military press is a multi-joint exercise and it works 3 different joints: the scapular joint, the elbow joint, and the shoulder joint. The scapular joint is activated through the engagement of the trapezius muscle. The elbow joint is activated through the engagement of the tricep branchi muscles, and the shoulder joint is activated through the engagement of the anterior and medial deltoid muscles. When monitoring this exercise, it is essential that the client keeps his knees bent. It is also important to keep your abdominal muscles engaged and as a result do not arc your lower back but rather keep a strong spine. It is also important to monitor the spine and pelvic movement and always remind the client to exhale as he exerts a force. The following exercise is a front raise with a barbell. It works the upper limbs in isolation and the isolated joint is the shoulder. The shoulder is worked through the activation of the anterior deltoid muscles, and when monitoring this exercise, it is important to remind the client to keep the abdominal muscles engaged and keep the knees slightly flexed while not lifting the barbell higher than shoulder height